Hello, this is Bill, and it's from Billboard Comics, and welcome back to the second edition of Guiding Lines, your weekly guide to new releases. Um, this will be covering the new releases for the week of April 2nd, 2025. Um, just want to let you know I got all this information off of League of Geeks website. They have the new releases there every week, and it was accurate at the time I compiled this information. But due to the vagaries and pitfalls of the local comic book distribution circuit, some of these might not show up at your local LCS. If you, I'd recommend calling ahead if you want any of these titles, just to be on the safe side. If you don't already have them on your pull list already. So let's start off now with the big book of the week. This, of course, is a segment that came from one I wrote for Broken Frontier called Guiding Lines as well. And during the time, I used to have like one main headliner thing that I devoted like a couple paragraphs to, and small blurbs for each one afterwards. And a lot of weeks was hard to find a big book of the week. And this is one of those. This is not one of these weeks. So this one, you might think something else might deserve the spot. Some weeks, you might think that I should pick something better, and you might be 100% right. But this is the best I could think of at the time. If you think something else should have been the book of the week, put it down in the comments. And sometimes you're going to have weeks that book of the week isn't really the big book of the week. Last week was a huge book. This week, I have chosen for the book of the week Absolute Green Lantern. Absolute Green Lantern is, I believe, the final entry into the DC's Absolute line for the time being. I think the total number of books are now up to 3 books. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, Flash, and of course Green Lantern. I have not gotten my order of Martian Manhunter yet, but I read everything else, and I do like the way the thing is going. I like the alternate takes on there. Uh, it's easy to do alternate takes on these legendary heroes. I mean, you have had, like, say, at least 50, 60 different versions of Superman, both official and pastiches or tributes or honorariums or stuff like that. So it's not hard to actually do uh, a, a different version of these characters. What it is to find a fresh take on it. So the best thing about this line is they seem to have found well thought out, fresh takes on this. I expect nothing less of this one. Although the tagline where he has no ring, no corpse, uh, no willpower, whatever. Uh, that's pretty much everything Green Lantern is. So I like to see what that's going on. I think it might be a case where, like, if I'm not mistaken, this is just a guess, that Hal Jordan is a disgraced Green Lantern and he has to try to find his way back into the actual mainstream kind of thing. But this is coming out. It is for $4.99. It will have. Here, let me see here. I put a sticky note on here for my notes. All right, it will have 8 open source variants and 4 incentive variants. I'll have a 1 and 5, which will be done by Varut Tommaso. That's not on his name. That's on my handwriting. See? I should have been a doctor. I can't even read my own handwriting. And I've been writing it for over 50 years. A 1 in 25 variant, which will be done by Martin Simmons. A 1 in 50 variant done by Helen Macelis. And a 1 in 100 variant by Johnny Lindsay. That would be a version variant, I think, of one of the like maybe the main one or whatever. So that is our main book of the week. But let's go into the new issues new series, one shots, and mini series that are coming out this week. First of all, let's start from Marvel. Marvel Rivals #1 is $6.99. This is, of course, based on the very, very popular video game that just kind of sprung out of nowhere and became one of the most talked about things ever in comic books and gaming. I haven't played it. Uh, I don't think I have actually outside my Switch a working system, and I don't know if it's on Switch yet. But nonetheless, like it is very, very popular, and a lot of the characters they're introduced in there, it's kind of affecting the comic book um, speculator industry, and a lot of the characters mentioned there when their first appearance in the comic books are becoming more valuable because of that. So it took it's just only a matter of time before it actually became an actual comic book itself. Um, Marvel doesn't really like leaving money on the shelf, so and here we go. This is what we got. It's I believe it's going to be a collection of the uh, of Marvel Infinity comic book, which was their digital offering on their Marvel uh, Universe or Unlimited thing. I keep on getting screwed up. I'm sorry about that. There are two open order variants. There's one in 100 variant, which is going to be done by Peach Momoko. That's an incentive, and there'll be it looks like 5 retailer incentive covers. 4 of them will be done through J. Scott Campbell's website and feature him drawing some of the characters. And there'll be one KRS Comics, Eastside Comics, Sad Lemon joint, to quote Spike Lee. They have collaborated on a separate variant cover that they'll probably sell on their locations. Check them out on the internet. Next up is Daredevil, Cold Day in Hell #1. This is $6.99, so it's going to cost you a little bit more if you want to get this one. It is looks like a 3-issue miniseries, and from what I can tell from the solicitation, it involves a older Daredevil set in the future. Okay, you know, it's so they're just going to make his life miserable in the future instead of making his life miserable now. This one will have 3 open order variants, 4 incentive variants. A 1 in 25 by Ben Harvey, 1 in 50 by Frank Miller, and that's going to be a Virgin variant. Virgin variants, in case you don't know, are variants that do not have any trade dress on. They don't have any logos or prices or anything. It's just the artwork. 1 in 100 and a 1 in 100 by John Romita, and a 1 in looks like 1 in 100, 1 in 200, or 1 in 2000. I put down 2000, but I don't know if that's possibly the case. It's a variant by Rose Besh. And if you get your hands on that one, hold on to it. That's probably going to be pretty valuable. Not that I know much about variants, but 1 in 2000. I doubt a lot of people are going to get 2,000. A lot of stores are going to get 2,000 copies of this in, so there's not going to be a lot of those floating around in circulation. All right, next one. Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe one last time. One last time. Sorry about that. This is $4.99. I guess it's another miniseries. Deadpool has destroyed the Marvel Universe several times already. It's like kind of alternate takes of like him either going crazy or taking a contract and just killing all the rest of the Marvel Universe. Apparently, people really like to see Deadpool killing like Fantastic Four and Captain America and Spider-Man, because I think it's like the 3rd series in that line. And I would take the one last time with a grain of salt. It's if this series sells well, there'll probably be another one last time. But anyhow, this is going to have 5 open order variants, 2 incentive variants, 1 in 25 by Nick Bradshaw, and 1 in 100 by Dan Panosian. And that's going to be a Virgin. It's also going to have 2 retail exclusives by Big Time Collectibles. I believe it's going to be a trade and a Virgin for that one. Next up, Ironheart. Bad. I don't know. Ironheart has a new miniseries, and it has like a subtitle that I can't read because I was too fast writing it down. I'll try to do better next time. I'm sorry. I am I'm embarrassed. Um, for $4.99, I guess this is I don't know how I think it works, but I think like the TV series was originally the Disney Plus TV series was originally scheduled to debut around this time, and things got reshuffled and moved, and maybe, or I could be completely wrong on that. Just like I'm wrong on writing down the name. You'll have two open order variants and two incentive variants. A 1 in 25 by Godtail, and 1 in 100 by Mateus uh, McCann. Hey, and that could be a virgin. I gotta get my stuff together. My stuff together. I apologize for that. Next up, Concert of Champions #1. This is going to be $4.99. It's going to be a miniseries. It is going to be written by Jason Wu and art by R.A. Coleman. And if those names are familiar to you, that's team familiar to you. You probably picked up the recently completed Dazzler miniseries. Dazzler is also going to be focused in this series as well. So this makes this a pseudo phantom sequel to that series. Marvel likes to do this instead of like just making a 8-issue Dazzler series. They make a 4-issue Dazzler series, and I guess like a 4-issue um, Concert of Champions. This is going to gather all the singing stars in the Marvel universe into like one giant concert. Um, they are going to there's going to be 3 open order variants for this one, and there'll be 2 incentive variants. One in 50 from Ivan Talavera, and that's going to be a virgin, and one in 100 Ji Hung Lee virgin variant. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur 10th Anniversary Special #1. I believe this is going to be $4.99 as well. I can't believe the current Moon Girl is 10 years old. Time flies when you're getting old, and days seem to speed by with nary a blink of an eye. I thought this was just this. If you told me this was just created 3 years ago, I would say, "Oh yeah, that makes total sense." 10 years, it's amazing. Um, and like all you people out there, like, "Oh no, 10 years is a long time." Oh, you're like 20 something years old. Wait, just wait. I'll catch up to you. Um, this has 3 open order variants and 1 incentive variant. The incentive is a 1 in 10 by Anand Ramachuran, I believe. Oh god, this is really bad. I was like dealing with. I'm still dealing with cold. I was dealing with cold when I wrote this, so it's. Um, I forgive me if it goes astray. Next up, the new issues from DC Comics. DC Comics sees the 6 issues that Marvel put out there new, and sees them by releasing just 1 new issue, as far as I could tell from the website. It's Resurrection Man, Quantum Karma #1. It'll be $4.99. I like it's kind of take off on their concept of the Immortal Man. The Immortal Man is but this time it's the guy who keeps on getting resurrected. He dies, he comes back, he gets a new power. Um, it's had a couple series like back in the like um, mid 2000s so far. Like I think 2000, I think it's part of like the New 52, and I think there's one a little bit before that. But now it's back with another series, probably a mini series here. It's going to have 2 open order variants. I'm going to start putting down the artists when I get that. And 1 incentive cover, 1 in 25 Butch Geis uh, variant. Um, I believe that's how I pronounce his name. That's how I always thought I pronounced his name. Some called Juice or Joyce. Or, I put Geis, and if it's wrong, I apologize. And if Mr. Geis or whatever, however you pronounce his name, and I'm not saying this to be sarcastic because I have a very long, had hard to pronounce the last name, so I understand the PM. Wants to get in touch with me with how to pronounce his name, or we have some official, someplace else, put in the comments and I'll try to correct it for next time. But I believe he was artist on one of the earlier incarnations of the Resurrection Man, so that's why he's getting to draw uh, a variant cover. in case you're wondering, because he's a classic name from like early like the '90s, '80s, and '90s comic books. But many people might not know him that well because I don't think he's like really um, done a regular book on a regular basis that often nowadays. Moving smartly on to Image. Um, we have G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, Beachhead, #1. This will be $3.99. It looks like it's a spin-off solo series from the Larry Hama universe of G.I. Joe, focusing on the G.I. Joe member Beachhead. There'll be one open order variant for this, and two incentive covers. 1 in 10 by Phil Hester. It'll be a black and white variant. I think it might be a variant of the actual main cover for the series. I believe Hester is writing and drawing the series. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. And the other one would be 1 in 25. Jorge Conez Letier. Um, no, it's letter. I'm sorry, letter. Full version. The iPhone basically has um, like a kind of cutout of like the GIGL logo, and the image appears behind that. That's what that means. So if you see it, that's the Jorge Conez, if that how you pronounce his name, his variant. Image also has another one out. It is I was a fashion school serial killer. Um, and kind of like images in like they're really kind of like a weird dynamic of having like really indie weird esoteric concepts, but also kind of like like a Spawn coming out every year, every week, every month. So it's like it's kind of an interesting like dynamic there. It's basically as the title, if you can't tell by the title, it's about ballroom dancing. No, I'm kidding. It's about a serial killer who uh, works as going to fashion school, um, and I think they're trying to learn how to make skin suits. Um, so it's going to be gross. It's going to be morbid. It's going to be macabre. So if that's up your alley, this is where the alley is going to be. There's one open order variant. There's going to be one incentive variant. 1 in 100 Jay Lee variant. And one retailer variant, which has been put out by Hive Comics and drawn by James Lamb. And finally, wrapping up Image, we have Black Ritual, The Way of Nyx, NYX. I don't know how to pronounce that. #1 is $3.99. It's a Spawn tie-in. Is a character that's once the She Spawn and this character from Spawn. So if you know Spawn, you know the character. If not, well, that's where she comes from. And it has 3 random variants. It doesn't have any incentive variants or anything like that. So I believe the League of Geeks didn't specify. So I imagine they'd all be all open order. So you might be able to buy it right off the newsstand from your local comics store. Next up, IDW. Star Trek. Lore War #1. It costs you $5.99 for this. This is a spinoff from their Star Trek license, and it'll feature the rival android Lore, which was also portrayed by Brent Spiner during the Next Generation. It has one open order variant and 2 incentive variants. A 1 in 10 by 22 level army, I believe, and 1 in 25 by Joe Quinones, and that'll be a virgin. And last week we had a last issue of one of their Monster High tie-ins, and you Monster High fans will not have to wait long to the next installment because this week brings us Monster High Bullseye. It's going to be a #1. It's going to be a $3.99 cover, and I believe there's no variants for it, so you don't have to worry about like if you get the main cover, you get all covers, and you're done shopping for Monster High books for the week. Lucky you. Next on to Only, which is Plague House #1, for the cost of $4.99. It's about a team of ghost hunters who investigate this house that is supposedly haunted. a house where a man lived who killed his family, to try to find out if like his legal defense of him being possessed by demons is actually accurate. And they're surprised by what they find in the house. Um, so if you like those ghost hunter programs or American Horror Story, this could probably be right up your alley. Um, there are 2 open order variants and 3 incentive covers. A 1 in 10 by Dave Chisholm, the Virgin variant. 1 in 20 by Nanar Uten variant. I got the last name right, I didn't get the first name. And a 1 in 50 Alan Ekman Lawn variant. All right, next up, the Alien Press. Alien Press has somehow gotten its hands on the variant license. I don't know if it's because the company bought out the company that owns Variant, or Variant's licensing the books to them, or whatever. I totally missed that. I feel like I fell asleep and woke up and they're in a different company. But this one will have a new series, Valiant Beyond, the Exo Man of War #1, be a $3.99 book, and there'll be 6 variant covers. I imagine it'll be open order, because it didn't specify on the site whether they're uh, uh, incentive or not. Um, so be on the lookout for that if you're a Valiant fan. Next up, a new order from Mad Cave, Pastime #1. It's about like a pitcher back in the early days of baseball, like the 20s or 30s, who is one of the best pitchers in the world, but he can only like pitch at night when the sun goes down. Which, if you think about it, there's probably a very valid, fangy, blood-sucking reason for that. That's run in the solicitations, but I mean, I'd stake money on that, which is an interesting premise, I think. There will be 1 open order variant and 1 incentive cover. The incentive cover is a 1 in 10 by Raz Zazi variant, I think. Okay, AWA is having a new issue. It's a series called Polis #1. I believe it's being written by Mark Russell. He's one of the better writers working today. It's about a utopia floating overhead of a dystopian Earth, and how it's like a different class lives up there, and how hard it's up to get in there, and all kinds of stuff like that. Um, this has no variants, so you don't have to worry about if you want to collect that. You're one and done. Next up is Sumerian. They only go out when it gets dark. #1, it's a $4.99. It costs you $4.99 before any discounts or anything like that. It's a one-shot horror anthology, and there will be no variants with it. Yay! Archie Comics, one of America's oldest comic book publishers, is coming out with one. It's Archie and Friends Level Up #1. And if you think this is just going to be your typical Archie reprint book with a whole bunch of like video game centric stories in it, you're partially right. But there will be a new 30-page story inside, so you have some incentive if you're an Archie fan and wants to click something new to pick it up. There will be there's 1 open order cover, and there will be 4 retailer variants. 3 will be 616 comics, and the artists on it will be they'll have a theme. It's going to be I don't think I wrote down the artist's name. I apologize to the artist. You should be able to find it online. This is only the second one of this. I will get better. I'm learning and figuring out which I need to do, what to include. I will get better next time. Hopefully, if you stick around. If not, then don't have to worry about me doing this again, because it might go away if nobody wants to see it. That's not a threat. That's not me being mean. That's not me being discouraged. It's just, it's kind of time intensive, and I should take more time because I'm really sloppy at it. So I apologize for that. But it's basically covers kind of like a video game kind of tie-in covers, where it has like say Sabrina versus Betty on a cover, or Betty versus Veronica, or Veronica versus Cheryl Blossom. Those are the variant covers from the 616 one. There's one retail for Stadium Comics. So, um, so got that looking for it. It was good. Space Between Entertainment. Uh, Countless Little Drama. Looks like it's a non safe for work. Vampire Saga of Love. That's what I wrote down here. So that's how I distilled the solicitation down. Um, Basically, so it's an adult one, so not for the kiddies. If you're under 18, don't stop listening now. You don't have to worry about any variants. Um, but if you are, there's going to be 13 variants. I don't know. They didn't really break it down into incentives or retailer or whatever, and I didn't really look closer into it. Next time I will. But half of them are also non-safe for work. It's one of those classic cases where she appears in her costume. Her costume is basically three pieces of fabric covering everything. And then the second variant is, well, two of the pieces cover Sagani. You can see her upper body. And then the third variant is she's totally nude. Um, you know, for those of you who, um, you know, who need that kind of thing in their life. No judging. Well, unless you're the kind of person who's yelling at women online and misogynistic pig, then yeah, I'll judge all I want. But I digress. Tidal Wave. This is the company that publishes like new biography comics of famous people. I believe the line is called Fame, and this one is Fame. Arnold Schwarzenegger, number one. There'll be one retailer variant put up by Comic Book Quest. It looks like it's being done by St. Jeffen or St. Jespen. Um, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger had a pretty interesting life. He's done some stuff that might not sit with a lot of people, but he also has said a lot of things that are pretty common sense, especially in the world of politics. At least I think so. So it might be interesting just to read to see how they distill his interesting life down to 32 pages of comic book story or more. All right. Bad Bug Media has a issue coming out called Bad Pussy. I don't know what it's about. I didn't put down a price even because I doubt very seriously unless you pre-order this, any buddy will actually order this in any kind of great amount. So your local comic book store probably wouldn't have this because all the solicitation says on the League of Geeks website is comics. Comics. That's it. Doesn't tell you about the story. Doesn't tell you who does it. Doesn't do anything like that. Doesn't sell to you at all. It just says comics. So good luck with that. It doesn't have a variant, but it doesn't make a difference because I don't think this is going to disappear pretty soon. I don't know. It might. Who knows? It might actually be one of those Kickstarter things that's getting a release or something like that. It's already made its money already, so it doesn't really need to have solicitation or whatever. I am not familiar with it. I shouldn't be making fun of it. But if you want some bad pussy in your life, ask for it by name. Scream it as you go into the comic book store. I need bad pussy. And just hope that nobody females working there at that time. You might have a lot of explaining to do. Wiseacre Comics. It looks like Blood Wars number 1. It's a half human, half spirit mercenary tries to reclaim his rightful throne. It's a kind of a supernatural sci-fi kind of fantasy kind of thing. There's one open order variant and one retailer variant. It's a Kickstarter Virgin variant, which I imagine would be a variant that is only given out to people who supported this project on Kickstarter. And if you didn't do that, the best part if you really, 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 really want this variant, you're probably seeing on the secondary market, like either Whatnot or eBay. And good luck for that. Bad Ego has an issue coming out called Going Under. This is a spooky coming age story. It's done by a YouTuber influencer, Lauren Z-Side. Lauren Z-Side. My daughter loves this YouTuber, and she's pretty entertaining. She's pretty funny and pretty fun to watch. I tease my daughter by calling her Lauren Zide. She doesn't like it that much, but it's Lauren Z-Side. So you might think this is being slowed down. It's going to be kind of like a uh, uh, maybe I should like start something called under the radar pick. If I did start a segment of under the radar pick, um, this would be the one. I think this will have some more copies than you think it would, because she's a very popular there, and if she's promoting it through her YouTube page, I don't know if she's allowed to do that. Um, I hear I'm on YouTube. I don't even know the possibility of that. Then she might have a little bit better than average sales for this. So keep an eye out for it. And if you want to, like, maybe if you're a speculator, and my caveat with speculation is like, I'm just giving you advice. I don't have any inside knowledge, and there's no guarantees that this will all work. But if you want something that might improve in value in the future, you might, if all the books this week, you might want to pick this one up. Um, Next up, Terminus Vale, Bolia's Gambit, number one. Looks like a one shot, a sci fi action kind of thing. All right. Omni Comics, Pantheon. There's only one variant. Looks like it might be open order because I didn't specify if it was incentive or anything like that. It's basically about a Afro-Italian who has the powers of the pantheon of gods. I don't know if it's the uh, Roman gods or the Greek gods. They're basically the same, but nonetheless, I'm trying to like live up to the values he was taught, but also his role as a hero in the greater world. Um, Animation Comics and Entertainment has one called Brook City. City has three variants. Didn't specify whether it's what's broken down into as retailer or whatever. It's action comedy set in Coney Island in Brooklyn, New York, and it was a Kickstarter funded project. Now let's move on to final issues. Okay, first up for DC, we have the DC Horror presents Creature Commandos number 6. Um, this is written by David Dastmalchian. This is the man who played the Polka Dot Man in James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie. He was also in The Dark Knight. He also was in Ant-Man. He also is a comic book collector. There's actual video on YouTube. If you want to, after you're done watching this, go check it out. To go to and see his collection, and he has a collection of comic books and original art and toys and stuff. He's a horror kind of collector, kind of stuff like that. It's very interesting to find out. It's like I'm always, you know, you know, in the grand scheme of things, celebrities are just normal human beings like everybody else. Um, but it's also good to find like somebody who shares the same interests as you. And I've always liked him as an actor, and he's also a writer, director, and all kinds of stuff like that. He also writes the Count Crawley line of series, about like 3 or 4 miniseries for Dark Horse. See they share on this. But apparently, I guess and I completely missed this. Flew on the radar. If I knew this, I probably would have picked it up. I totally missed this, so maybe I'll just wait for a trade and pick this up. But he does his take on the Creature Commandos. There's one variant, and it didn't specify on there whether I think it's an open order. But this is, I guess, released to for timing with the Max animated series. That's really good. I saw that. I thought that was very, very good, very well made. Only Press has another last issue. It's Cruel Kingdom number 4. This is another of their EC tie-ins. It has one open order variant cover and 3 incentive covers. 1 in 10 Albert Montes variant, 1 in 20 Adam Rowland black and white variant, and a 130 Ria Huez archive variant. I'm sorry if that's your name, and I apologize. I'm asking. Like I said, I'll try to do better on this. I'm just trying to get through this enough time so I can post it today, so it's not late, and then go do editing on others. Why you listen to me? My complaints don't mean anything. I should do better. But yeah, it's I'm just starting to think. I guess like the epitaph taps from the abyss might be an ongoing. that's going to be keep on going. It's going to have the same thing. It's like, don't have to worry about that changing. That's going to be steady. But they might be putting on periodically changing the Cruel lineup for different themes. Uh, Before this is Cruel, like I don't know if it was Cruel Fantasy or whatever. So this, and then now this one was Cruel Kingdom, which is more of like kind of like a medieval kind of like knights and the round table kind of like horror set in that kind of era. Um, so I don't know if another one's coming. It might be. I could have missed it. Um, but yeah, but if you're collecting this series, this is the last issue of it, so you don't have to worry about it from now on. Uh, Next up, Dark Horse. Dark Horse has two final issues. One is The Goon, Them That Don't Say Dead, and there's one variant for that. This is the latest Goon miniseries. I'm sure there's probably going to be more down the line, but if you've been collecting this is the last one for this particular series, so be aware of that. And also, looks like it's Barstow, number 4, an occult detective kind of story. There will be no variants on that one, so you don't have to worry about picking up variants on that one. Next up is Image. Juvenile ends with number 5. It's one open order and one incentive. 1 in 15, Maria Lovett variant. I like her work, so that's, if you're interested in that, pick that up. Next up, Titan. Huge detective, about a detective who is a giant and who's partnered with a normal-sized human. It's ending with number 5, and there'll be 2 variants with that. The site didn't specify if it was incentive or what it was. At the time I was researching this. Mad Cave. Missing on the Moon. A sci-fi kind of detective story. There'll be no variants for that one. And finally, at long last, the national nightmare of this thing is over, and I will only have one more entry to screw up. We're going to get to the facsimiles. The only facsimiles on there, like if it's is Batman 614. If you enjoyed last week's Batman 158, the first installment of Hush 2, this is a facsimile that reprints the Joker story from the first series of Hush. So if you like, I haven't been paying attention to this before doing this thing, so who knows? We might have a whole series of these facsimiles of the whole Hush arc that you could possibly pick up, and probably more coming like maybe next month or whatever. But this will have 3 retailer variants, which will all appear on the Crane website, web store. And it will also, as these typically do, have one foil variant that you could choose from. So that's all for this week. Which ones, what's going to go onto your pull list, which you're looking forward to? Which ones are ending? Are you sad that are ending? Was there anything that I missed that was wrong? Like I said, this was accurate at the time. This is what they had on the site when I did the research for it. It doesn't mean that everything that I mentioned is going to be in stores for you when you go there on Wednesday or whenever you go there. So take that with a grain of salt, but this should be like the somewhat close to official, or at least mostly correct. But if there's anything in there of note that I might have missed, that might have slipped through the cracks, either by me or by League of Geeks, let me know in the comments. If you like this weekly kind of thing, like I said, if it's very labor intensive and if I don't get a lot of response from it, it might not be long for the world. So if you like it, put that in the comments, like and subscribe, because that'll tell me exactly which segments of Billboard Comics you like and you don't like. And if I have to reshuffle stuff because of time constraints, I will know which ones should be jettisoned and which ones I should keep on doing. I kind of dig this, but if you don't like it, I won't force it upon you. But leave some feedback if you can, and that'd be awesomely great. If you loved it and you think it's very valuable, share it. This is why I try to put up on Friday, so you have a whole weekend that if you need to share it or make note of it or share it with your friends or whatever, you could do that. Um, and I'll be back next Friday with another installment of this. Uh, there will be a new Growing Up comics on Wednesday, and new Girlfriend's Guide comics on Tuesday. So be on the lookout for that. They'll probably hit midnight both days. So if you're a night owl, you could get an early access to it. If not, it'll be there waiting for you when you wake up in the morning, or when you get home from work or whatever. Uh, so that is all for now. Have a very good weekend, and keep on collecting.